back, everyone.
Welcome.
Episode 3. We've moved. We've relocated.
We've relocated.
One more time. I think it's going to be every single episode is going to be a different
location
scenario for us. We're still adjusting, but as you can see, we're
upgrading.
We're on the go.
We're on the go. We're
the
literally
go.
on the go. Room to room.
Room to room. Testing out what is possible for this exciting adventure.
This new adventure. We saw your comments last week. Some people got the predictions wrong for the.
I think everyone kind of.
But nobody got any of the predictions right for the Champions League.
I don't think we. It's the games that happened were very hard to predict. I think, especially because of the intense challenge for all those teams right now. You've got these guys playing for Champions League and they're playing for so it's always going to be, I think, at this stage in the game, it's very unpredictable, and I think everyone is high intensity, high stakes. Everyone's just fighting for the silverware. But I think the main games to talk about would definitely be the Champions League.
The Europa League yesterday was pretty unpredictable, some of the results, but let's talk about the Champions League.
Okay, Champions League.
What was your standout fixture?
Manchester City, Real Madrid. I think it was a great game to watch.
Yeah.
Obviously,
for neutral,
six goals. But the first, it was 15 minutes of literally, like, we saw everything that Man City and Real Madrid have to offer within 15 minutes of that first game. It was 2-1 within 15 minutes, and then they slowed down after a while. But incredible performance by both teams, and I think it was always going to be that kind of game. I just feel that they should have maybe produced those results, especially Man City. We saw them play the game against Arsenal, and not have that kind of performance.
Like I think we mentioned it before. Is that obviously they're going for the title, right? Yeah. I know it's weird. Champions League is the same thing. You're still going for a trophy, but the rules have changed in Champions League as well. Like, there's no away goal and stuff like that. That also impacts. And the Premier League, they know that a draw is still good enough. They can still stay there. Yeah. Like, a draw is still good enough in the Champions League, but Real Madrid were close to losing. Like, literally one goal away. Without Valverde's equalizer, Real Madrid could have lost at home. And in City, I think that's going to be
very tough for Real Madrid.
I think there was actually a comment by Valverde by the end of that game, and he said it felt like a loss for Real Madrid.
Like, I think they were both there.
I think for Real Madrid it must have felt like a loss.
They even closed the roof.
They closed
the roof for like ambiance and stuff. They closed the roof and they were like, oh, that's going to scare City. No, it didn't.
No.
I think it made it even more exciting.
You can't. The thing is, they forget that City is being led by Pep Guardiola.
And he also
he's played against Real Madrid. He was actually in his. If you think about it, he was in his hometown. Not necessarily his hometown, but he was in his country. Yeah. He was in Spain. He was comfortable. He's been there many times, and for him it was just like he knew his opposition, and he knew what his players had to do against that opposition, and he put them out there, and they did what they had to do. Unfortunately, the defense maybe just couldn't handle some of Real Madrid's performances. It was very good. That first goal. Sorry, the second goal was incredible. Coming from the wing. Yeah. But I think for Pep, for Man City, a great result. They're going to go back
because Real Madrid haven't beaten City in Etihad.
They're going to go back to the Etihad, and for them, just the same kind of performance. Strengthen the back. make sure that they don't get those counters.
Yeah.
Score one goal, and
then see what happens from there.
Knowing Man City is going to be.
I want, as a neutral, I want another 3-3 in extra time, and it will be
great to see.
But I don't think it's going to happen.
My
it's going to be
for that game is going to be 2-1 for Man City.
2-1.
And Man City will definitely go to the semis. I think Real Madrid played great at home, but couldn't stop Man City.
Yeah.
So I
don't. Some of those goals were like you can't. It's not even about the defense actually. If you think about it, those goals were just like.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the word. Out of the you can't defend some of those goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just Real Madrid trying to pretty much shock Man City with a quick counter.
Yeah.
And just get as many opportunities as they could.
Yeah.
And they did it well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's enough for them. I think going back to Etihad,
Man
City will dominate, and they will take them.
And Arsenal, Bayern. I think Bayern literally. I think because of the way they are in Bayern, I have a feeling they could just scrape through against Arsenal, because Arsenal's good, but I don't think they can manage there in.
Yeah, look, I think Arsenal has had, and I've said before, they've had an incredible season.
Yeah.
I just feel that maybe they don't have that confidence right at the end to take on, champions of European football.
Yeah.
And obviously we know Bayern has,
the pedigree of Bayern.
they just know how to get through as a club. It's not going to be easy for them.
No.
I don't think, but I think they will.
Harry Kane is still going to be.
I think Arsenal needed a win in that first leg.
They had,
I think
they had to win that one.
They had to win it.
The thing is, Bayern in Bayern is not like because the way Arsenal's going to be set up, I think it's how they're going to set up against City, and that's not a good for Bayern. That's perfect for them. They will dominate, and you don't want Bayern to dominate the game. No. If they do, then I think Arsenal's in trouble.
I think it's the same saying that Real Madrid should have won the first leg.
Arsenal should have won the first leg.
Arsenal should have won the first leg.
So I think that whoever was away likely will go through. So for me, it's Bayern to go through, City to go through, Barcelona to go through, and Atletico Madrid. No, I don't think because Atletico won their first one, and Simeone knows how to defend like a beast. That guy. So I have a feeling it's going to be Atletico, City, Barcelona, and Bayern. Those are the teams that are going to the semis.
I think we're on the same page.
Yeah. Okay, and then let's go on to the Europa League, because yesterday, I know Atalanta was good, but a lot of Liverpool. I know people underestimate teams, and I think Liverpool fans and Liverpool in general like to underestimate or overestimate themselves. That they've got Van Dijk and all these people, but Atalanta are unbelievable team. They actually, if you think about it, they actually beat Klopp in Liverpool the last time they played, when they played each other. They beat them in there. But the difference is Liverpool beat Atalanta in Atalanta 5-0. I don't see that happening again.
Yeah, I think maybe they underestimated. I think Liverpool maybe underestimated what Atalanta could do. But I mean, knowing Klopp, he's not a coach that I think Klopp is a manager that understands his opponents.
Yeah.
And
like he set up the team perfectly to win the game. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Yeah.
Like the team was fine. Yeah, even if he brought on Jota, he brought on these guys. They should have won the game. I don't know what they were doing. But
yeah, I think in terms of the team that Klopp put on, that Liverpool team should have taken that game. I think maybe the players just underestimated their opponents. And I think that happens from time to time where the players just feel maybe too confident that they've got the game in the bag even before the game starts, and they don't expect that
to be
opposition to just
to be so hungry.
Yeah.
But I think that just shows you that the difference between the Premier League and the Italian league. I know the Premier League is the best league in competitiveness when it comes to the bottom half of the table. Like I'm looking at Liverpool. Liverpool have struggled a lot against the top teams. They're in the bottom of the top 6 against head to head. They struggle against City, against United. They you know what I mean. So I think Atalanta is like a top 6 side. So I think the European side is showing Liverpool's current frailties at the moment. You know, they're good in defense against maybe West Ham or something. You know what I mean? There's something missing there, and I think that's one of the reasons why Liverpool is now didn't run away with the league when they were like 6 points clear. Remember, Liverpool were also in front, like 6 points clear in front of City, and 10 points clear in front of Arsenal. So they kind of bottling what they were having. You know,
I think all the teams, the top 3 teams, have had opportunities to run away with the title during the season, and I think all of them have bottled it. You know, it's usually Arsenal. It's usually Arsenal. So my question to you is, your favorites for Europa League.
My favorites are either Benfica or Leverkusen. Yeah.
And that's coming from where?
Well, because Benfica have been actually quite unlucky. They've been to Chelsea, beat them I think twice. No, we beat them once in the final. And also Benfica, I think they lost to Villarreal. They're very unlucky. They get to finals a lot, but they lose. And Leverkusen is unbeaten the whole season. So it's for me, it's Leverkusen and Benfica. So Leverkusen and Benfica are my favorites. Who are yours?
My favorites for Europa League, I would go for Leverkusen, definitely. I think they're just a side that, you know.
It's just unbeaten. It's just, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
They're unbeaten. You can't beat them.
They just have that unbeaten run, you know.
I mean, for anyone to beat them, that team deserves to win.
Leverkusen also has always, for a long time, even thinking back to when I started watching football, I really, really love Leverkusen.
Anyway, okay, so
yeah.
We've gone through the Europa League, we've gone through the Champions League. Now it's time to talk about what's going to impact the Premier League.
What's going to impact the Premier League?
But there's two things that are going to be impacting them. One is the new offside rule that's coming. I don't know if you've seen that. You saw that, right?
I saw that, yeah.
So the new offside rule, and then also we're going to be talking about the new financial fair play rules that are coming in next year.
Yeah, these guys are enjoying
changing the things. They just change rules.
Whole new thing of messing with clubs' financials. I'm like,
are we going to go to? Let's talk about the financials.
What is actually happening in the Premier League where they've almost become like an
auditing company.
Like an auditing company. I mean, the IRS has arrived. The Premier League. I don't know what what is England's version of the IRS? The BRS or
Sorry, you killed me.
The PRS.
Oh.
But it seems like someone from some tax entity.
No, I think
has jumped into the Premier League and has now said, look, you guys are losing a lot of money here.
Yeah.
It's almost like they went out and said, look, there's something happening here. We feel like clubs are allowed too much freedom to spend their money.
No, I think let me be
to improve their team.
Let me be devil's advocate.
Okay, you can do that.
If I can talk. You almost killed me here. So basically what they're trying to do is make it fair. Okay? Now, I understand to make it fair, but the problem is you can't make it fair when the top half make 500 million a year and the bottom half make 200 million max. Yes. Right? That's the problem. It's not fair in terms of who the clubs are. Now, if you think about it, the best way of making it fair is you have to incentivize the smaller teams to make more money. Okay? More TV rights for the smaller teams, not only on the big teams. Right? More sponsorships, more guaranteed income when you promoted, or when, you know what I mean, like maybe $500 million when you promoted. That'll help, because like right now with Everton, with Sheffield, with all these people getting deducted points because of, I mean, like when you look at these figures, you're like, why? That doesn't matter. They're suffering. They're in the they're in a relegation fight. They're not benefiting. Nobody's benefiting from half of the stuff that they're doing.
If I can just interject.
No problem. Interject.
So, this is, for me, the way I see it.
Yeah.
It is a very it's a tax system that's been put in place, right? You've got your upper class, your top guys, your Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, but Chelsea has somehow dropped. They've to the level of middle class.
Mid-table team, yeah.
You've got your high class, middle class, and your
relegations. Your lower class.
Unfortunately, your poverty teams.
Yeah.
But
basically.
I mean basically, look. I mean, any team that is in the Premier League has got money, absolutely.
Yes.
But Sheffield United does.
No.
There's no way in hell that their bank balance, compared to Manchester City,
their bank balance
is
never mind Man City. Their bank balance is not even enough for Wolves.
For Wolves, your mid team.
The teams that
right?
have been a long time in the Premier League generally have good income because they've generated so much income for a long time. Promoted teams generally suffer.
See, so my question to you is, because I know you've been
Involved in this.
researching this brand new tax system that's been implemented by the Premier League. So my question to you is it fair for a team like Everton or Sheffield United or Luton or any of the bottom teams to be treated the same way as Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, right? So you're telling me that a team like Luton, okay, who can maybe just afford to buy one player, because I mean every single player now is valued at
average
50 million pounds for your average player that's maybe even coming from a championship is 50 million pounds. So now if a team like Luton has to somehow compete with other teams in the Premier League, they have to go into the market and spend some money, right?
So now
if they spend just an extra 2 million over this ridiculous amount, limit.
The limit currently is 105 million or something like that. Wait. No. You can't go in minus 105 million. Once you get to that, you get in problems. The problem is that teams like Chelsea, for example, I'm going to use Chelsea because we are currently in investigations. They are investigating Chelsea's financial fair play problems. But Chelsea will be able to sell 2 or 3 players and be fine. Luton, Sheffield, these people cannot. No one is buying a Sheffield player for 80 million pounds. Nobody. They'll come to Chelsea, buy somebody from Chelsea for 80 million, no problem. Because of who they are and what they've done for the club. And also the prestige. That's the problem, is that is impacting the smaller clubs. Now this new rule that is being implemented is clubs will be able to spend up to 85% of their revenue, okay, on salaries, on transfers.
Their yearly,
annual revenue. Now, so if you calculate that's 85% per year times 3, because I'm calculating times 3 because you can't go in minus 105 million over 3-year period. The current system. So 85% per year. It's still going to be a problem for smaller teams, but it helps them because if, for example, they earn 200 million, they'll be able to spend 170 million every year, which is very helpful in terms of maybe getting that extra player just to help them get into Europa League or something, to get that extra 100 million from Europa League. You know what I mean? There is that, sometimes you have to get that extra minus to get yourself into Europa League. You know what I mean? The problem is that the smaller teams, if after 3 years they still don't benefit, then they're breaking the rules again. So the rules will still impact smaller teams more because of their performances and the demand of the Premier League. It's so tough. Like Leicester, for example, they're in the Championship now. I mean, they won the title like in 2016. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they won the title in 2016 and they're in the Championship. So that shows you, barely 10 years ago, they were one of the dominant forces. Okay? Now when they come back, they could be deducted points because of the current financial situation. And that's what I'm saying. There needs to be a leeway for certain
teams. As you said, like you can't give...
Seems like cancel culture has worked its way into the Premier League.
Well, I mean,
something that you did like 10 years ago is going to come and,
Yeah, it's weird.
you're going to get karma bites in the ass because...
Man City have 115 charges. Like, they've been charged 115 charges, okay? Chelsea, I use an example because they haven't been charged...
I mean, with that 3-3 draw against Real Madrid, they should have got another 30 charges against them because that was a horrible performance. Defensively.
Yeah. But, like, going back to the thing is the overall performances in the league can determine your
yeah, so I mean, I understand what you're saying, and it makes perfect sense. There has to be some kind of fair thing, fair play comes into play. But my question, because you're talking about teams. So like say for instance you buy a player that's worth £30 million. Okay, does this whole thing, is it like an asset? Is it like a tax system? Because I mean I haven't really researched it. Well, so say for instance you buy a player that's worth £40 million, and then within the first half of the season, his value increases because his performances are just no. If you don't sell him, what happens then? So like say for instance,
this is basically
what it is. It's for people to be fair. It's the fair play system basically. What they want people to do is not go over the top on spending and get away with the thing is, some clubs have spent so much money, but they've sat in fair play. Do you understand what I mean? They've managed to scrape through. Like many teams have managed to sell players and then they scrape through. Like last season, I'm going to use Chelsea as an example because they're one of the key ones that are...
Obviously, I mean, billion pound.
Bottle jobs, yeah. No, but also Todd Bowley and his guys, they know how to find the loopholes. Now, Chelsea's going to sell a couple of players and get away with it. But it's not getting away with anything. They're in the rules. Now, the term of getting away with it, it sounds like Manchester City, who seem to be getting away with a lot of it. Like, these rules are coming at a very dodgy time for me. Very strange.
It is very strange.
Like, for me, Chelsea is still going to sell 3 or 4 players to try and keep the rules. Within the rules.
Yeah, okay.
Next season, Manchester City haven't been charged fully yet.
Yeah.
You're right? So, they are going to actually kind of benefit with this new rule when it's implemented. Because they haven't been charged yet fully. So by the time the new rules come, maybe they're going to be officially charged, but are they going to break the rules now?
Is this just a Premier League thing, or is this worldwide?
No. So in Spain, for example.
Because sorry, my question is.
This is only the Premier League change.
Say if Man City gets into trouble, okay. Like they pretty much have to sell their entire squad to save their asses, right?
These rules are like the UEFA rules, but the UEFA allows you
70% of your revenue.
Okay.
Per year. The Premier League's offering you 85% of your revenue you can spend. So they're pushing the envelope even more for the Premier League teams. If you put all that together, that will help certain clubs, but some clubs are still going to suffer because they don't earn enough.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
That's my next question. So, okay, Man City can spend 85% of their revenue. What is their revenue?
Well, we still don't know their revenue because they inflate their revenue. That's why they're being charged. They say they earn 800 million, which I don't know, John.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that their revenue is...
Let's say 600 million. 600
million.
Okay. So 85% of 600 million is like 500 something million.
Yeah.
That's mad.
They can still buy 3-4
No.
quality players.
The problem is that that's going to make firstly the top of the table even more competitive, which is good. Problem is that the teams at the bottom who earn 100 million a year, they're gonna spend 80.
They can spend their 85% on paying their current players.
But remember, that's for
They're not
salaries,
buying
that's
new
for
players.
salaries and transfers.
Yeah.
Now the average salary per club at the moment, I think I checked, it's about 20 million is the average for the small teams. 20 million is the salaries
20 million pounds. What?
a year
Yeah.
for the small teams, like the promoter teams who come in and pay like 20 million, whatever. So 20 million is just the salaries, okay? But they earn about 100 million. So they're gonna push the envelope in certain terms if they want to stay in the league for years and years. You know what I mean? Because as you said, the current market is too expensive. These players are 50 million for a random player here, 20 million, 30 million for here, agent fees, all of that is too much. Now, I think down the line, once they've implemented this, which is not going to happen until I think 2025 season when that starts. So it's still going to be transition period. But for now, the current rules of spending you can't go over 105 million. That's still in place. So only from next season, basically, will people have to start adapting to the new rules, right? So it's still a transition period, and that is the thing. Like people will now have to change the way they do their accounting. They're gonna have to change the way they do that, and it's gonna take some time. But to conclude that, we have to discuss the main thing, right? Is these changes are coming very quick. Okay, so they're bringing in the new financial rules. Next season, they also bring in the new offside rules, which is what we're going to talk about now. Next season, the Champions League is changing, right? So all of these changes are happening within like a year. Okay, so a lot of these clubs will have to adapt how their fair play works. In Spain, the fair play is like completely different. I don't know, the spending rules are completely different. Like Real Madrid can spend like 700 million. They can do almost anything because the way they structure their thing. But also Real Madrid and Barcelona can do certain levers because La Liga is those two. If you're not,
Yeah.
You cannot lose.
They have the salsa fair play rules.
But I mean, like the Premier League is almost. If you think about it, the Premier League is.
saying is that the Premier League is very different. They will fine you just because it doesn't matter even if you bring in TV rights to the Premier League, they will fine you. They will give you deduct points. They will do all sorts of.
I think it's very unfair that they're finding a team like Sheffield United. I think it's unfair.
It is.
You know, I mean
And also these investigations. Why now? You're gonna give them 2-point deduction.
I don't know what is. I know that you're into conspiracy theories. So what is your what's your theory about why they're bringing this?
My theory. Okay, my theory is that they know how to time things perfectly to make drama in the league. Because, for example,
Everton got deducted points. Guess who they're playing this weekend?
Chelsea.
Yes. How's that game gonna go?
Chelsea 5-0.
No. That's very likely a draw or we're gonna lose. There's only two: draw or lose, unless the performance is like we're unpredictable.
Why do you say?
Because Everton, when they get deducted points, they're unbearable.
I think any team that loses points will be unbearable. You know, you're pretty much going down to close to the relegation zone, and I mean those teams, they are always fighting. They're always in fight mode.
And that's my point, is that these small teams that are getting deducted points are making the league exciting too. That's why I'm saying that it's a bit of a conspiracy. But I mean,
It's making it exciting, but it's really unfair. I think it's
the timing. I think when you do
deduct points, you have to do it quickly, early. You cannot do it now. Like, think about this. They still want to give Nottingham Forest deduct point. They want to give them more points. Like, I mean, when? At the end of the season when they get relegated.
End of the season,
if they were 3
they've been playing their asses off to just compete and stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
and then this whole thing comes up and says, hey, you spent way too much money of the no money that you already have. It's not fair, you know. And for me, the fact that like Manchester City is yet to like receive
Their punishment.
their punishments, and all these teams, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United, Everton, they've already received their punishments. So it's almost like they're waiting for Manchester City to win the title again, and then next season be like, well, let's see. Well, I mean, some of it was, well, it's okay. You can stay in the league. Like that's how I feel it's gonna go, because it's like when you put a very influential, wealthy person in jail, they don't go to jail,
No,
right? They go for like, probation. They do some community service. They spend some time at home, house arrest. And I feel like it's gonna be like a slap on the wrist for some of these top teams. So my question is, this is something that they did before these financial rules came into play. So why are they being punished for something that happened? It's like, there's a rule. Say for instance, you went shoplifting, and shoplifting wasn't a crime before.
And then they punish you.
And then they introduce shoplifting as a criminal offense or whatever it is, and then because you did it like 10 years ago, it's like now you're punished for it. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
I
think that's what I'm saying. These rules need to be adjusted, and they need to be fair.
Yeah.
And you can't do it for each. You can't have the rich people and the poor people have the same rules. It doesn't work.
It doesn't, or it won't work.
It won't work.
It's not fair for me. It's supposed to be this financial fair thing. There's nothing fair about it, because we've only seen 2 clubs now actually get punished. 3.
Nottingham Forest, Everton.
Oh yeah, sorry.
now
Okay.
Sheffield.
So yeah, 3 teams.
And Leicester next season.
So it's all your bottom teams
It's all the ones who don't
that
have 500 million pounds.
don't have money
What can we say?
to pay these fines and get relegated and whatnot.
So basically what we're saying is,
It's still under investigation.
but basically what we're saying is, these new rules are still going to have faults. Basically, we're still going to have issues.
They're very faulty.
Faulty rules. So, but rules. The problem with rules-based systems is that everyone must follow the rules, and somebody will get burnt.
Look, I mean, just to finish up on this topic, I think I prefer this new system.
Then you want 85% spending. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like football is definitely trying to find a way around all of the stuff that's happening, not just off the pitch, but also on the pitch. So we've got that whole part of financial stuff, how much you're paying for the players, blah blah blah. But at the same time, I think referees are also looking at things like how can they use the technology to actually watch a football game, right? And we have players that might be performing, that might be scoring goals, but it's being cancelled out because we don't have the right technology to see that. So everyone's like, Sterling came on, Haaland came on, and they didn't produce. They aren't worth the pound. But then it's like, these players are playing, and maybe getting cheated by what we have, in terms of seeing these things. And like, I mean, going back as a long term, going back as a veteran football fan, before VAR or on field technology, where it was a clear offside, and it was counted a goal, or vice versa.
Yeah, you can't really go back and change it.
I mean, you would see it, and there was nothing you could do about it. And now we've started seeing VAR obviously has come into play.
And now we've got the new offside rule that's coming.
European clubs and leagues have already implemented this offside rule, where it's like in the World Cup they have you can see when they offside, they toe or whatever, it's offside because they have the technology in the ball and all of that. So now the Premier League is implementing that from I think the beginning of next season, but like September, right? So they will need to implement that into each stadium and all of that going forward, right? Now that's a good thing because we love the World Cup, the offside rules. Champions League has that offside rule, and nobody really complains. Plus, it'll save time for the referee not to waste time and you looking like this, waiting. Is it offside? Is it wrong? No, it'll be quick. And that's the thing. I think as football fans, we want to go back to the game. We don't want to wait. We can barely celebrate sometimes. You know how many times when especially Chelsea, they score. You're waiting. Oh, it is a goal. Yay! It's so delayed. But you can't blame the referee. They want to get it right because they know if they get it wrong, back on the newspaper, back on the headlines, and we attack the referee when actually VAR is supposed to send the referee to go check. And it's a whole broken system. Now, if you take the offside away from their control, it kind of saves time and puts less pressure on the referees, I think.
Absolutely. I think VAR obviously I think has been around in rugby and cricket and and I think it works with a sport like rugby because rugby is already sort of interrupted. It's interrupted sport where it's scrums and throw-ins and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas football is very it's a smooth sport where just it keeps going and going and end to end stuff.
Yeah.
So when there's an offside decision that goes to VAR and you have to wait like 5 minutes.
Now, I think this will definitely cut out on the waste of time that we have. That will definitely help. And then they can start tweaking the rules. And that down the line, as you said, that football keeps changing. And we have to all adapt to it. And the problem is when there's so much change going on, financial fair play, this, that, a lot of the fans they don't know what's going on and to keep up. Now, if they don't know, referees keep up. All the clubs have to adapt to all of this. And I think over time,
like I said, everyone has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think
But I mean, most of the clubs have voted for this, so I think they'll
for financial fair play.
for financial fair play. Yeah.
I'm sure they have.
For the new system, for sure, the small clubs voted for it because they're struggling at the moment.
Yeah, no, for me, it is fair. I think the new system, the new financial fair play system, is fair. But it has to be looked, like you said,
Adjusted. Yeah.
Individual clubs
Need some immunity or something that. Yeah, there has to be something. But I think once they've implemented it, they can start changing. They can start tweaking it and stuff. Yeah. But I think
our system, I think, will probably help just get football back into being a end-to-end sport.
Yeah, a little bit quicker.
I think it will make it fair.
Yeah.
VAR is already
we all love that Champions League offside rule.
Absolutely,
We like the World Cup one.
For me, I just don't like that it stops a football game the way it stops a rugby game. Rugby game is fine because everyone's used to rugby game stopping and starting and stopping and starting. Football game has always been end-to-end stuff. So when it stops and the referee runs to that screen and you're just like, ugh.
And then he has to interpret what the hell is going on, and he can make a mistake, and it's too much pressure. And I think we have to remember referees are also humans. There is a lot of pressure, and they can make a stupid mistake.
That the AI system that they're using.
If it's as long as it's the same as the World Cup and the Champions League one, it will be fine. I think overall, between the financial fair play, football, the offside changing. Football in general, I think is going to be more exciting because it's exciting already. But I mean, in future, I think it's going to be better.
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for watching again. And if you did watch to the end, you are probably the only one. So
really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching.
Subscribe,
like. and we will
Tell us what you think about our new setup.
Yeah, let us know.
And we'll see you next
Check you in
time.
the next one.